There we go. There we go. Okay. How are we, everybody? Let's turn this temp down a little bit. Cool. There it is. There it is. Okay, let me get into some music, of course. We can play that. And then I will pull up the chat board and then we can answer some questions. So how are y'all doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. Let's see here. Where? Let's just go like this. YouTube's. Okay, so as many of you guys know, I do have so let's see here. Hold on a second. Right, all right, all right. Let's see here. Today's studio. I set up this, oh damn it, that's not what I want, for fuck's sakes. An extra, you guys don't care about that. All right. Okay, so let's see here. I think I do this before. All right, hang tight, team, hang tight, team. We are almost there. Hope you had a happy 420 if y'all celebrate that yesterday. I know that many of you may know that I work in that industry now, so yesterday was really busy. We are lucky enough to be open still, so lots of fun with the shops going crazy. So, yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Trying to figure out how to get to my actual dashboard because they changed all this and they removed my ability to go in through it the old way. So hopefully we can figure this out. Let's see here, let's see here, let's see here. No, for fuck's sakes, it won't let me go to it. So, okay. Well, I know they've started to move things where you can only see stuff through your phone if you're live streaming like that, because that's how I do it. And now I'm unable to get to see the questions. So, all right, hold on a second, team. Hold on, for fuck's sakes. Technical difficulties. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Let's try this one. Let's try this way. Let's go through this way. This way work? I don't know if this way works. I don't know if this works. It won't let me. Interesting. Okay, so let's try a little search, huh? Okay, let's see. what this says if we can go in through this way. Otherwise, I won't be able to see any of you guys' questions. And then this whole thing is chat. All right, so there's an old link that I found on the internet. So that'll work. All right, there we go. Cool. Cool. How are y'all doing? Good to see ya. What do we got in here? We got She Whack. What up, Shake? Good to see y'all. One Way Studios. Nicholas Garcia, Crazy Christie, Steven Vargas, Nicholas Garcia, Matthew Suin. Thanks, buddy. Little tip. My man. Much appreciated. Okay. After Hours Bartender, what up? Meaning mindfulness. Meaningful mindfulness, you're good. Okay, cool. Right on. So, welcome to another live edition. Making you a bartending pro. My name's Jason. It's my man Shake there moderating. Sorry for the technical difficulties. When they make an innovation and it doesn't make it easier, is it actually an innovation? I don't know. That's a question I would pose to the owners of the YouTubes. Anyway, how are you guys? Hope you had a good 420. Hopefully you got out there and celebrated that if you're into that kind of thing. And what's happening? What's new? What's try to center this a little better. What's been happening in your world? How are you? Anything new exciting? Anybody get a job through all this crazy stuff? Because I know that that's been really challenging lately. So Shake says Grub Husband keep me out of the house, but barely. Other than that, a new run and Fallout New Vegas. Nice. Sweet. Doing well. Swag. C-Wack? I remember we figured this out one time, I forgot. One Way Studio, where are you working that is still open? I work in the cannabis game, where I am a director of marketing for a cannabis company up in Oregon. So that's my main full-time job. So we were deemed, because of the medical stuff, an essential business as we've been rolling, although we had to cut back to curbside delivery, can't come into the shops. So it's a little bit different. Definitely limping compared to, not limping I'd say, but definitely not as good as normal. So this is the brand here, Tokyo Starfish. Tokyo Starfish, like the sea creature. Tokyo like the city, Starfish like the creature. Anyway, so yeah, I've been doing that, and that's been fantastic. And I know a lot of people are still laid off. Word on the street is stuff's going to start opening a little bit. So remember that I've been saying, if those of you who haven't tuned in the last few weeks, or maybe you had, this will be a little bit of a recap, but remember that I have a theory that I think after this, there's going to be some people that will not come back to work at their establishment. So when bars and restaurants and whatnot start opening back up, make sure that you're ready to hit the ground running, to go knock on doors, reestablish a handshake or an elbow bump with a manager, owner that you may know, that you may have gone to previously to try to look for a job, because I do think there will be people that will not come back after this event. They just decided, like, you know, especially, I mean, all of these in this industry, there's a lot of people that they get into it and then they want to work, but they don't want to work. And so if they can sit home and get unemployment for the next 3, 6, 9 months, they're going to do that instead. So there's going to be opportunities for you to go in and potentially take their job. So make sure you're ready to go. Watch all the how to get a job playlist. Have your resumes ready to go. Places start opening up. Go stick your head in there and say hello to the managers, the owners, and see if there are any opening positions. Lucas Garcia, what's up from Argentina? Always love the international grouping in the house. Cool. She's a crash superstar. That's right. Outer Banks, North Carolina. Crazy Christie. Nice. So good to see y'all. Meaningful Mindness. Good to see you're all well during this bullshit. Anyway, we have what have you been doing to keep your bartending skills sharp lately? With the lack of crowd, I find myself feeling creatively stagnant. Creatively stagnant. That's probably the right way to say that. Huh? Hey you. Well, for me personally, because I work in media, I take a lot of pictures, make a lot of videos, so my creatives are, that's basically what I do every day. So I'm fortunate that I get to do that a lot, and that's kind of what got me the job for this stuff anyway, is a lot of experience from YouTube and then just a bunch of other projects that I have. But for you guys, yeah, there's a funny meme I saw of, it's like a couple weeks into the coronavirus lockdown, and it was Mo the bartender from The Simpsons, and he's got his little dolls and toy friends set up around a faux bar that he set up at the end of his bud. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a little bit of a creativity lack or expressive lack for a lot of you bartenders that are used to being out there working all the time, but you'll be all right. You'll be fine. Me and the missus in the past had a yoga business where she's like a yoga teacher, and we would take people on retreats down to Indonesia every year. We would lead a yoga retreat vacation, basically, of sorts, and we'd be gone for a month to 3 months at the longest. And it's nice because you're completely disconnected, but you come back, and I always had that first shift or two on where you're a little bit rusty of like, whoa, going through the motions again. And especially coming from where we were, where it was just so laid back and chill. And then it's kind of, right back into the fire of a busy establishment. Like you gotta click on pretty quick. And you get it pretty quick. It comes back. It's like riding a bike. So not to worry, you shouldn't get too rusty. No worries. You'll be all good. Nicholas Garcia was reaching out to someone in specific, Vlad. Trying to reach out to my friend to do frozens. She only wants barleys and ice. How do I explain how much ice it is? An easy way I tell her to use a cup, but she didn't catch it. So the easiest thing with blended drinks is to not add too much ice, or not to have too much liquid. You want your ice. It depends on the cocktail, right? But it's hard to explain. It's easier to show. So I have a video about how to get a perfectly blended cocktail shake. When you try to find that, put that link up if you can. Basically, like when I was training my bartenders, I would tell them that you don't want the ice floating around in there. Like if you have free floating ice, you have too much liquid to ice ratio. So you need to either add more ice or dial back how much liquid and whatever you're putting into that, so that you have more ice. Like you want the ice to not quite float. If you have floating ice, you need more ice in there. And if you blend it and it's this big giant, you're trying to make a single blended drink and you made like 2.5, then that means you need to maybe reduce the ingredients, a little less mixer. I tended to make whatever cocktail I was making that was blended, a lot of margaritas and shit. Put a little bit, you don't put as much mix as you do into the one that you'd be making on the rocks into a normal glass, just because it's that ice blends up and it fills up the glass quite a bit, so you don't need as much liquid. But then on the other side of it, you kind of need to spice it up from like a liquor or a flavor standpoint, because when you're drinking that ice, it really dilutes the flavor. So that's why a lot of blended drinks are real sweet, because they just need to be that way to have any sort of flavor. Most cocktails, if they were blended, would be pretty boring and bland. So, mess with this light. The color is all weird. My computer's all, or my phone's all fucked up. My damn cat broke it the other day. Of course, all the phone fixed places are closed right now. Son of a bitch. Anyway, so there you go. It's kind of hard about the blended drinks ones, but don't want any floating ice. That's an easy one to tell her to do. So, waiting for all the shit show to blow over, says One Way Studios. Nice. Crazy Christy celebrated 420 at 420 in 2020. Yeah, that was, oh man. So last year when we were planning this thing, because right, this year is 420 falling on actual 420, like it's basically 420 all month long, right, for the month of April in the year 2020. And needless to say, the big cool plans that we had for most of the month didn't happen. So that's cool. At least somebody was out there. One Way Studio, been out of work for a month now. That is, sorry to hear that. One Way, after hours bartenders, all gigs canceled. Day job moved me to work from home. Yeah, sucks. Unless you like working at home. But if you're a bartender, that's not a good deal. Crazy Christy got a full-time job offer today at a fish house. Will decline, doing 2 side jobs, soft shell crabs, diesel mechanic. Oh, nice, impressive. Very impressive. That's cool. I've got respect for girls that are wrenches. Nicholas Garcia got fired in February. March starts this, and I'm screwed. Yeah. Hang in there, guys. It sounds like it's starting to slowly, or will slowly start coming back to life for you guys. One Way Studio, your videos are what made me so comfortable at bartending. Sweet. That's why I made these. You know, they're not the prettiest, fanciest ones out there, but I think pound for pound, they're the most straightforward, realistic, real life to bartending anything out there. So I think that's why I've had some sort of success and people giving a shit about what I throw up on YouTube. So cool, man. Glad it's stoked it's helping you out. Shake, thank you for that link. And then there's another one down there for the frozen drinks, so check those out. Yeah. One Way Studios, I remember that episode. How to Become a Bartender. Yep. Sweet. Dewan Marquet, did I say that right? Dewan Marquet? Marquet? What do you think of National Bartending School? Are they a good place to start? So Dewan, I would recommend, especially if you're, here's the thing. Bartending schools, not necessary. Most bartenders don't go to them. Most people learn on the fly and take it from there. Bartending school is cool to give you a little bit of fundamental basics, only if it's really easy for you to afford. If you're scraping together money, or you have to borrow money, or it's the last of your money, definitely do not do it. I never went to school. Ironically, I started teaching at one 7 years after I was working as a bartender. And that's actually when I went and I started teaching as a short period. I realized after I had been working for 7 years as a bartender at like a busy place and then teaching at a school and realizing that what you need to be, what you need to know and your regular routine as a bartender versus what they teach you in a school are not necessarily the same things. There was a massive focus on all these fucking crazy drink recipes that I had never made and still through the rest, another 10 years of my career, hardly ever made, if ever, most of them. And a tremendous lack of focus on the people skill set, which is, in my opinion, the most important part of this whole thing. So I would say it's basically like paying for practice. It's not going to be seen as experience by a bar or an owner. Although when I was a bar manager, I did respect the fact that someone was willing to invest in their future. I am unique in that not all people think that, so some people think it's kind of foolish, but hey, it shows that you're trying and you're willing to go invest in yourself to learn a new skill set into a new career or something. So I would say if it's easy and realize that it's not going to necessarily help you get a job, and that it's basically like paying for practice, and then go for it. Otherwise, I would focus your time on going out. And again, this advice is a little bit different because we're in slightly different times right now because of the current situation and shit. You can't exactly start going out there knocking on doors yet. So I think your time would be better served just watching if you like my videos, watch mine. If you like somebody else's, watch theirs. Just watch. There's so much shit for free, especially on the internet, even just on YouTube. If you want to learn the drinks, there's fuckloads of channels that just do really pretty cocktail making stuff. Don't worry about memorizing a bunch of that stuff, but if you just want to kind of look through and watch things just to get an idea about things, then sweet. Pick up some books, read some things, educate yourself while you're sitting around. But it's one of those things that almost 99, 98% of the bartenders that I worked with over the bulk of my 16, 17 year career, 99% of them never went to a school. So that's, especially if you're in the US, it's just, they're mostly focused on, and their main selling proposition is that knowing lots of drinks will get you a job, which is not necessarily true. And knowing a bunch of drinks will make you a good bartender, which again is not necessarily true. And I tell this story a few times recently, so apologize if you've heard this again, but I'm taking my sweatshirt off. The best bartender I knew and the best bartender I ever worked with was terrible at making cocktails. His drinks, although strong as fuck, which a lot of people liked, he was terrible in his accuracy, in his knowledge of drinks. But the reason he was so good, and the reason why he had a better local following than anybody else I've ever worked with, was because of his people skills. It's because of his ability to relate to his customers and they just loved hanging out with him because he's a fun guy. So that's just people skills stuff. I think your time would be better served trying to work in the gig economy at the moment, which I don't know what your personal preference and comforts are and where you work and your interactions with people. Maybe you don't want to do that right now. But one of the videos that I recently shot talks about how the gig economy, gig working like food delivery, Uber driving, all that kind of stuff. Food delivery is so-so. Really the driver, if you can drive Uber or something, the interaction with random people that you don't know gives you a tremendous opportunity to work on your skill set of just talking to people. Because another one that I'm shooting is that I think the main nervousness that people feel when they're starting as bartending, they think it comes from them not knowing how to make drinks. But when you realize that that's really simple, that's not it. And it's this fear of public speaking, because you're speaking a lot in front of these random people that you don't know. So it's like when you're forced to stand up in front of the class and give a presentation. That's the fear that you feel. So take that money and put it into Toastmasters, which is just the local, maybe it's a little bit, I don't know, it costs that much. Maybe it's like, less than $100 a year or something. I'm not quite sure, but it's cheap. And you just go in and you just stand up in front of the crowd, the people there, and you say, you work on a speech if you have a speech, or if you're just like introducing yourself, and you just get used to talking to people. And that is what will give you comfort behind the bar. Because the drink stuff's pretty easy, especially if you're brand new. You guys aren't going to be going into some crazy high-end craft bar, possibly, right? There's always an exception to every rule. But generally, the type of bartending that you're going to do when you're brand new is going to be very simple, usually at some pretty mellow-paced places. So you're going to have a whole lot of time to just work on your people skills. And so if you can come in with that straight out of the gates, then you're going to have a much better chance of doing really well. Okay, so I know there's a ton of questions flying in here, so I apologize that I'm lagging on this a little bit, but that's good information for you guys to hear that. So good question there from D'Angelo, is that his name? DeJuan. So thank you, DeJuan. All right, Matthew Sewin, my man, sommelier exam, sommelier, however you want to say that. I've heard some people say sommelier. I've heard some people say sommelier. Either way, it's French. I don't know French, and I'm butchering it, so I'll say sommelier. Exam was about to to be held in August, but I'm afraid it's going to cancel due to the coronavirus. Not over yet. Probably I would assume. Good luck on that, Matthew. That's fucking awesome. Good on you. And that's a cool. That's a niche. That's a niche within a niche of this industry that if you get that and you can get pretty good jobs with that. You can be a resident wine expert for like a really high-end bar or a hotel chain or a winery. So that's cool, man. I know those are not easy designations to get. Nicholas checking in. Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely. Matthew Sewan says, what do you think about the cocktail masterclass? In your opinion, Bartending Pro is way to rid of them. Cocktail masterclass. See, I don't pay attention to what other people are doing, so I have no idea. Let's look it up. Is it a different school or something? Masterclass when you're in membership. So it's just on an online learning portal. It looks like. Let's see. What do they charge? What do they charge? 2 passes. $180. Whew. Pretty steep. Pretty steep. Oh, masterclass. That's the, okay, I know what this is. Got it. Got it. So you get 1 pass. Do you have to buy 2? Can you just buy a single one? Is that how this works? Let's see. I don't know. I haven't dug into it. I do know that the people that they have on here are pretty well vetted, so they're knowledgeable people. I'm sure whoever their bar or cocktail expert is probably got a good rap sheet and know what they're talking about. Whether or not you need to do that and it's going to help you, I always equate it down to what are you trying to do? Trying to learn this profession, and then why? Because you want to get a job. So is it that expenditure gonna help you get a job? Maybe. Might give you some magic piece of information. Depends on what they're talking about. If it's geared towards the nuts and bolts of actually what the steps are to go get a job, I would say it's worth it. If it's just about making fancy cocktails, then you're basically gonna invest in how to make fancy cocktails essentially for yourself. Maybe if you land in a place, but again, it's going to be their menu that you're making. So again, if it's easy to afford, sure, go for it. Might as well see what the hell you learn. It's always worth, if you can get at least one little golden nugget. I'm sure there's some great stuff in there. But do I think it's necessary? No. I think there's just too much free stuff that you guys don't need to do. Remember I gave away my learning portal, bartendingblueprint.com. I've decided to give away for free because of the whole pandemic, so you can check that out as well. Danielle Emmond. Danielle, what's up? One Way Studio, working from home, making drinks for myself. It's a great way to practice. I'm using for the ice mixture, dump the alcohol mixtures into the blender. If it's kind of stuck and won't flow out, splash it with some Sprite. Yeah, so what shaking is like you take the glass, fill it full of ice, put that in there, and then you put your stuff in there and then give it a blend. It's easier to add than you can't take away, right? You can always add a little more liquid. Crazy Christy. Did you get good contacts, connections while bartending? Yeah, absolutely. So that's one, in my opinion, one of the main benefits of being a bartender is the networking and the connections that you make are fantastic. I've had a few job offers, quite a few, come out of that. Most of them you turn down, or most of them I turned them down just because it wasn't what I was interested in. Some of them required relocating and moving, so it was never worked out. And it was bartending for me. It was a really long. It's a really fun career, but it was never something I was going to do for the rest of my life. So those opportunities were kind of career opportunities. So that's cool, right? So if you're just working your way through school, you're making a side buck, you want to improve your social life or whatever for a period of time, great for that. And if you want to just see what comes out of it, working in this industry, you'll get some cool connections. You'll meet some cool people. And if you give a good impression, they will give you job offers. So it's rad. I think the biggest one that I ever had was I had a guy try to recruit me for Goldman Sachs to work as an investment banker. And he's like, oh, you making $250,000 a year in 2 years or less? And it's like, great. If I give a fuck about just doing that, I hate banks and investment bankers. I won't go into it, but they're one of my least favorite people in the world. So I wasn't going to sell my fucking soul to be able to do that. So I was in a feisty mood. I straight up told him I hate his company. I would never work for him. So, but yeah, I mean, you get pretty substantial opportunities coming through there. So the networking is really cool. But bartending without experience sounds so scary. No, and that's what I was talking about, Chrissy. So it's that perception that it's going to be really hard. And a lot of it just comes down to it's that don't think it's because you don't know enough. Just realize that that fear and anxiety is the same thing as when you go to school on the first day, or you're worried about giving a presentation in class. It's that same anxiety. It's or if you had to give a public speech, or you're the best man or best woman at a wedding, and you're supposed to get up and talk. It's some very, very few people are naturals at that. And if you are, then you're going to step right into bartending, and it's going to be a breeze to figure it out, because that is a lot of the learning curve that people have to get over to just get over having anxiety about this job. But, and I just lost my train of thought, if you can go in and just realize that that's all that anxiety and fear is coming from, then it makes it not so scary, and it makes it not so daunting. Feel like you have to know all this shit before you're quote unquote ready. You're never going to be ready, and that's true with any job and any career. You're never going to be ready. You just have to throw yourself into the deep end and figure it out. Like I've said many times, my first bartending gig and my first day bartending, I didn't know jack fucking shit. I didn't know how to pour. I didn't know any drink recipes. I had no clue. It completely fell in my lap because my friends worked there, because of who I knew, because of my social connections and being friends, again, people skills here, with the manager. And he came in, gave me a job, and I was double duty. I was a busboy and food runner and doing some bartending while I learned, and while they phased out the guy that was leaving. But those first few busy shifts, like, it was hectic, but you just figure it out, and you're pretty slow at first, and you kind of work into it. And it was hard because I got thrown into the deep end at a place that was busy. This was at the early 2000s, right around, actually, I think it was right at 99 or 2000, I think. And that's when the economy was just booming. Southern California, everybody was just pulling money out of their houses like they were fucking Howard Hughes and just partying like rock stars. So every place was packed and busy, and everybody was just making fucking money. So it was fun, but it was hectic. But you just figure it out, because really, that part of it, the technical aspect. Now, again, we're talking about just starting out. The place that I was at was like a pretty simple restaurant style bar. It wasn't like a really high-end cocktail place or anything, so it wasn't super in-depth cocktail making. But that's the majority of the type of bartending you're going to do when you start out. Like, you go into these places and you look up all these like house-made syrups and this huge tray of garnishes and all sorts of flavoring ingredients and modifiers and liquors and liqueurs and all this shit. You're like, oh my god, I will never figure that out. But you're not going to start at that. Maybe, right? You could. Who knows? That's awesome. And if you do, don't worry about it. You'll figure that out too. But generally, your first out of the gates bartending gigs are not going to be that complicated. So don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Shake says, I have some hotel bar to ask for some sort of bar school, but then maybe where I'm located in Colorado, USA. So, right, good point. That sometimes the bar school can help you, right? Ultimately, it just depends on where you're at, the style of establishment that you're going into, and if you don't have any experience, it can be better. Something's better than nothing. But really, my whole point with all that stuff is, if if you can pay for it easily, then sweet, totally do it. But if it's not, like if you're scraping to pull together the money, do not do it. Okay, do not do it. Right. After hours bartender says restaurant's set to open here Monday in theory. Good luck to you guys. Stay safe and healthy. Let's see, did I miss anything? I make sure I didn't miss anything here. Let's see, I think I got everything. Okay, we'll back down here. One-way studio, the best bartending school you can get is working at as a barback. Yeah, 100%. So just working on the job. And as a barback, you're learning the flow of a particular bar. You're going to be next in line-ish for the next, the light just came on, positions at your bar probably. So being a barback is definitely the way to go. Making pretty good money. You know, you can work as a, I know a lot of barbacks that worked at really busy high-end, not high-end, but really busy like nightclub style bars. And it's late hours, but fuck, they were making more money than most of the bartenders I knew. So it can be a good gig too. And real life learning for sure. Nicholas Garcia says crazy. You learn more working than in some institutes. Where I study, I've learned more by videos than in that institute. Only basic techniques. Yeah, and they all vary. And that's the other thing that's about the bartending school world is there's no uniform governing body, right? And that's my whole point too. There's no such thing as a universal bartending license. They're independent organizations and schools that might put together their own criteria, what they think means you're certified, right? But there's no like universal thing for bartending. Let's see here. After hours bartender says the only person I know that got a job for bartending school got a job at DoubleTree Hotel. Yeah, so I think like that hotel style might be a little more open or preferring bartending schools, which is just some weird, because you know, DoubleTree, super corporate structure. That means some bonehead at the top who doesn't know shit about this stuff is like, hey, we should make our bartenders, you know, hire people that went to bartending school, which is cool. That's good for, you know, that. But it kind of perpetuates that strange dichotomy of their necessity of being even out there. So, okay, you guys got a lot of questions. I'm trying to get through these faster here. Let's see. Shake went to school because he wanted to get to a few of the hotels that requested it. Ended up getting one in the local bowling alley. It's what I wanted anyway, but did network while at school. Yep, 100%. And my bottom line, always with schools, if it's easy to afford, go for it. After Hours wants to know, is a bowling alley a good spot? I always recommend them. They're great ones. Shake said, I had a bartending job before going to the school because of the videos from Jason. Thank you, sir. But just wanted to take it out of curiosity. The one I'm at is they have crazy deals and crazy regulars. Yep. Those types of places tend to be a little bit on the like kind of not dive bar-y sort of ish, but you know, just sort of the drinking hole type spots where, yeah, you got your diehard locals that are in there all the time and they like well poured drinks. Just my perception. Crazy Christy says, did we get everybody up here? Let me make sure we got everybody up. Crazy Christy says, I want to bartend to meet more people and learn new skill sets, people skills to launch a new business in the tourist industry on the water. Fingers crossed. Nice. Good luck to you, Christy. You will make it happen. Just keep pushing. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise that you can, that you won't be able to do anything other than be successful at that. It's the cool thing about humans is we can figure out whatever we set our minds to. Let's see, what the hell? So then shake. Oops. The one I'm at is, oh, we already said that. Danielle Emin, a bartender on a go-kart track. Best customers ever. That's awesome. You never know. There's bars all over the place. That's cool. Nicholas Garcia, Danielle, that's funny. Awesome at the same time. After Artist has the money at bowling alley. And kart track. Sure, it's so. Have you ever been to India? I have not. I have not been to India yet. It's on my bucket list. We'll definitely make it there for sure. Have a couple of friends that live in India. Not native Indian, they're actually Australians, but got some friends that live in India. So, Shay says, had drinks of all kinds, ordered martinis, blue Hawaiian, Washington apple shots, green tea shots, all the Long Islands and variations of. Yeah, which isn't actually too broad of a drink selection. It's a broad selection of kind of your like pretty standard, they're not crazy hard to figure out drinks or super out of the ordinary. Vodka twist, just plain rum and cokes. Love my custards at the alley. Nice. Danielle Emmond at the go-kart track. Tips are pretty decent. So entertainment facility, go-karts, axe throwing. That's awesome. Arcade. Expanding will soon offer frolling and archery tag. What's frolling? Or did you just misspell bowling? Maybe, I'm assuming. Unless there's frolling something that I don't know what that is. That's cool. Archery tag. So you're like trying to nail each other with bows and arrows. That would be fun too. Dewan, very welcome. Done Uber before. Learn the person wants to talk to you. If they don't, they don't. Yeah. Yeah, so good point, right? So if you do go into like Uber, if you start driving or something and you're doing it to, you know, make some money obviously, but then also the intention is to kind of work on your people skills, make sure not to shove it down their throat, because some people want to talk to them and some people don't. And it's the same kind of a thing at the bar too. Some people are just going to be, and they're going to be obviously a little more social, you know, it's going to be leaning towards being more social in a bar than in an Uber ride, but it's still, there's that same kind of thing where some people want to talk and they just love talking, and some people do not. So that's why it's good, you know, it's good practice. So absolutely. Thanks for that, Dewan. Crazy Christy played Nimble Strong, bartender drink mixing game. It's an app, very fun, and we'll send you a cert at the end. Oh, there you go. There's a good plug. Nimble Strong. Bam. Give it a shot. Check it out. Jake, a viewer who does freelance bartending, works at a stadium as a bartender. Yeah, that's what's her name? Blinking. Anyway, sorry. I can see her picture in my head, but I can't remember her name. Football bowling. Throw football at bowling pins. Ah, good times. One Way Studio says, I had offers for selling furniture, selling solar panels, other restaurant jobs. Nice ways to tell me I'm doing my job right. Yeah, for sure, right? And that's the thing is, even if you don't want to take the job or be a dick to the crooked fucking banker guy, then it's a compliment to your just personality, your demeanor, your overall service, that they think you're doing a good job and they want to give you a job, which a lot of times is kind of funny. It's also sort of a slight of, maybe they're just generally trying to recruit you, but I always got the impression of like, hey man, I can get you out of this like bartending gig if you want like a real job. It's like, what do you mean fucking, pretty sure this is a real job, you know? I've been doing this for a long time, man. By the way, how much time do you get off every year? Oh, I get 10 days. Like, that's awesome. I go to Indonesia every year for 1 to 3 months. And they're just like jaws on the floor, like, what? You can do things that you can do in this industry that you can't do in a lot of other ones. And that was one of the ones that I always loved, was the flexibility of your schedule and your timing, being able to take, you know, if you want to work seasonally and that's it, you can do that. So it's cool. All All right, one way. Peace out. Good to see you. And we're almost done anyway, so we're gonna do last call for questions, y'all. I hear my wife down there breaking shit, so I'm gonna need to go help her here in a minute. Last questions for anybody. If you guys are watching, chime in now, and I will get them out to you. And remember, we do these every Tuesday, 6:30 Pacific Standard, West Coast, United States time. So that's 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 East, West to East. And make sure you check out the bartendingblueprint.com website. That is the basically program that I put together that has a lot of this information of these my YouTube videos put together in a sequence to kind of take you through them all and prepare you to be a working bartender. Used to charge for that, and since all this coronavirus, I am now giving it away for free. So make sure you go check out bartendingblueprint.com. I don't need anything. You don't need to give me any money. You don't need to even give me an email, which my friends that are professional marketers would tell me I'm a fool for doing. But hey, this is all about helping you guys. That's why I do this. This is not about money. This is just a side gig to give back to my people. So, good to see you, One Way Studio. Peace out, brother. Crazy Chrissy, awesome. Later. Colin Powell, what's up, man? Just dropping in. Wanted to mention trick bartending as a way to increase tips if you can do some cool stuff. Yes. So, the flair stuff definitely can be cool to increase your tips, but you gotta be careful with it, right? Some of your managers and owners will not like glass flying around all over the place. And, but yeah, it is a cool thing. It takes a lot of time and practice on your own at home. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, definitely anything that's entertaining to people, whether it's flair or jokes or just your, you know, general personality, will help you with your tips for sure. I think my hand's a little bit crooked. Okay, Crazy Christy says real jobs are lame. Yeah, 100%. Most of the time, right? And they're all real jobs. I always hate that. Real job. What do you mean real job? What does that mean? Like I have to be in a suit and tie in a cubicle? Going to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? Fuck me. Sounds like a shit deal. You know, unless they're giving you lots of money, and even then it's maybe not worth it. Like when the guy tried to recruit me to Goldman Sachs, so I told him, fuck no, hell no. I don't be a fucking investment banker. It's probably not very smart, because I probably could have gone in and made a lot of money and retired in like 10 years, is, you know, usually what those fucking guys do. But I have a healthy disdain for banking and bankers just because of all the shady. Anyway, we won't go on down that rabbit hole. Anyway, just say I pass it up. Traveling is addictive, says Crazy Christy. Let's make a WhatsApp group. Takata. What's up? For bartender, make a WhatsApp group. I'm never on WhatsApp. Never on WhatsApp. I'm on here. The Instagrams. And that's pretty much it. And even then, I'm not really on the Instagrams very much. It's mostly here. At Bartending Pro. Check it out, y'all. What's the song in your mind right now, Matthew Sewan? Right now, currently, it's Drug Ballad by Eminem, because that's what's playing on my playlist. But we're going to skip that. Let's go. Perry Mason's cool. That one's a little too rock and roll. That one's a little too slow. Now we're out here in a minute anyway. So, again, wrapping up soon. If you guys got a question, throw it out. Otherwise, hold it until next week. At Bartending Pro, all the social stuff, but really it's just here. It's pretty much the main one. And new vids will be coming out this week. Ben the Bartender, what up? Yo, dog. How you been? Good to see ya. Crypto Cat, they're just jealous and they hate their job. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the whole, what's a real job? What does that mean? Real job. If I had $1 for every time someone tried to recruit me to get a real job, I'll get you out of this bartending thing, man. I'll get you a real job. What the fuck does that mean? Maybe you don't even ask. Like, they don't even ask you. It's like, do you like... A proper way to do it would be to start with, do you like this job? And like, yeah, man, this job is awesome. Get a lot of flexibility in my schedule. I get to take a lot of vacation time, and I get to work on times when most people are not, and I get to be off when most people are working. So it's a great deal for me. Man, thank you, man. My man, appreciate it. Appreciate the tip. You don't have to do that. Appreciate you. Hey, yep, cool. Benefits, good question. I was wondering that as well. How likely is it that a bartender will get health benefits? It depends on, this is a good question. So it depends on the establishment that you work for. I've worked for, I should say, I guess 50% of the bars that I worked at had options to buy into healthcare. Another 30% of them had options, maybe almost the same, 40% had options to buy in on retirement stuff, so you could contribute to a 401k if you want. But generally, usually the rules for that stuff is like a full-time employee, and a lot of the service industry kind of falls short for that, so we get kind of shafted in that regard that you don't always work enough to be able to qualify to be an insured employee. From the best thing is to find a workplace that has kind of like a group plan that you can buy into, because then you can find stuff for cheap. But they don't, even with my job that I have now, it's supplemented. It's very, very rare to find a place that like part of your salary is to have full coverage health insurance. That's pretty rare. And so even just having the option to buy into it is, I consider, health benefits. That's usually the situation. So you're going to be paying for it out of your own pocket, but it's at a severely reduced price. So like if you normally pay it $100 a month in insurance, if you're like a young, healthy 22-year-old person, then it'll cost you 30 or 40, something like that. If I was to buy insurance on my own, it would be several $100s a month. Through my work, I pay like 70 for pretty good insurance. So that is something to think about. Yeah, Turn, what up, man? Good to see y'all. Some legends in the house tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see y'all. Stoked you guys are coming through. But that's a good question, Anthony. Thank you for bringing that up. Something to think about, something that you can ask about when you're in an interview. It's like, do you guys offer any sort of like health insurance, group buy-in type stuff? Just curious. Don't do it in an entitled or expecting kind of a way, because it's I'd say not super common, but can see it coming around every once in a while. Yeah, right on, boys. Well, let's see. I think we'll cut it at that. So, wrapping it up, 6:30 to 7:30. That's been the routine the last while. Thank you all for showing up. I appreciate you all. Make sure that if you need some training and you want to see something, sorry, I just got distracted there. Thanks, Ben. Bartendingblueprint.com, which is my website that I have put together, a little training for bartenders, giving that away for free. For those of you that are thinking about a school, start there, right? Start on the just interwebs, man. Just watch YouTube shit. It's all on here for free. You don't need to pay for anything, especially if you're just going to be absorbing it digitally through your computer or your phone. Just look it up on the internet, man. You don't need to pay for anything. But anyway, I put that, bartendingblueprint.com, for free. I gave that away starting because of this crazy coronavirus stuff. So that's my gift to all of you guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being part of this community. I appreciate it and love y'all. And I'll see you guys around next week. Thank you, Shake, my man, for moderating. You guys take it easy out there. Stay strong. Fingers crossed, stuff's starting to come back around. Hopefully y'all will be working soon. Remember, get ready for all, as stuff starts to come open, there's going to be opportunities where people are not going to be going back to their bars, and there's going to be job openings coming up that you can go in and talk to the owners and managers about getting. So make sure that have your ducks in a row. If you need to get a job, go knock on some doors, bump some elbows, get your face out there, and I guarantee you, hopefully you'll be able to get something going. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you next week, and keep your eyes peeled for some new videos coming soon.